Alrighty, welcome, marketers, innovators, and AI enthusiasts, to episode 20 of the AI Advantage Show. We're your hosts, Colin Episcopo and Kim Reynolds, and we're here to equip marketers and professionals like you with the insights and connections needed to gain a competitive edge with AI, especially in 2024. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about AI tools that these are essential for business owners and marketers. These are the ones that you need to be using in 2024. Kim, who do we have today?
So today, I'm very excited about this. I probably say that every week, but I really am this time. And we're joined by Austin Armstrong, you've probably seen Austin and not even known it was him. He is everywhere. He is the king of short form content. He is Mr. TikTok, Mr. Instagram, Mr. Everything. He's a digital marketing strategist. He actually has an agency, but not more importantly, but more exciting for me is he has a company called Syllabi.io, which creates AI video. So we're going to get into that later and let Austin tell us all about it. But for now, just super happy to have you here, Austin, and excited to have you on the show.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. Kim, Colin, thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Very excited. I know we're really chomping at the bit to hear more about Syllabi, but let's talk content first, right? Let's start.
Yeah.
Let's start there. Yes. So let's talk. So again, Kim said, "Hey, you're the king of short form content." I still think for a lot of marketers and businesses, it's kind of scary to get in front of the camera. It's kind of scary to do the short form content, especially these videos, the stories, the reels, TikToks. So how do you approach that? And then we'll get into the kind of the best stuff. But how do you even just get started? What's a good way to just get started with that type of content?
Yeah. So firstly, it's got to be a mindset thing. Yes, it's scary to get on camera if you've never shot a video before. But in a lot of industries, you have information in your head that can literally help people, and in some cases save people's lives. Like I work a lot in the behavioral health industry with addiction treatment centers, psychologists, therapists, and they literally have information that can save people's lives on social media. Now, maybe that's not the case in your industry, but you have information that can help people. And that's what it's all about. You're almost doing a disservice by not just ripping off the Band-Aid and getting started creating content. We're all our own worst critics when it comes to how we look on camera, how we sound on camera, how we come across on camera. I promise you, nobody cares what you look like or how you sound as much as you do. And so as long as you're providing helpful information, you're going to do well. Now, with that, there's quite a few ways that you can just get started. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? So you can go in with a structure. You can go in with help from other people. So a couple things that we like to do, talking on the agency side of things, for instance, is we will sort of interview you and figure out 4 or 5 categories of content that you're able to talk about first. Really do that research of what videos do you want to create, so you don't think today I have to make a video because I haven't posted. What am I going to talk about, right? Plan it out ahead of time, And so these will be categories like services offered, pain points of the clients that you're trying to reach, the questions that they're searching for online, trending topics and trending news in your industry, and maybe doing some competitor research on these are top performing videos from similar creators or on similar topics. How can I recreate them? And so when you have your 4 or 5 categories of content, then you can break them down into subtopics or individual videos and opening hooks that you can start with. And what we like to do is have 10 to 15 videos in each one of those categories, and then systematically go through them. Because if you do that exercise, you're going to have 30, 45, maybe 60 content ideas, and that's a month or two of daily videos that you can post. And you can then structure them in a way that performs really well. Like, I find short form easy because I find long form hard, to be honest, because it's so unnatural kind of for me to like just talk on a topic and not ramble. I tend to ramble a little bit in long form. So like short form is strong opening hook, talk about a pain point or a relatable problem in regards to that opening hook, provide helpful information that resolves it, or here's bullet point 1, bullet point 2, bullet point 3, and then a closing call to action at the end telling them what to do. You don't need to introduce yourself. You don't need to talk about yourself. And in fact, I strongly encourage you not to. Studying thousands of video retention graphs, when people introduce themselves, hi, my name's Austin Armstrong. I'm the CEO of Socialty Pro and Syllabi. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about, you've already lost people. People don't care. Focus on providing incredible free value for your audience based on the questions they're searching for, the services that you offer, how you can help them. That's what's going to resonate with people online and allow you to grow. Now, if you don't feel comfortable like doing everything solo yourself, one of the really cool strategies that we've found and really mastered over the last 10 years, we've been doing this, and so much so that it's become kind of a standard practice across the board in every industry. But it's been pretty cool. But you can have somebody behind the camera sort of walk up to you in any setting and ask you a question that acts as the opening hook of your video. And then you as the professional can just respond immediately to that question. This is a style that's worked really well. We do this a lot for every client that we work with, because a lot of them are just not comfortable being on camera, but they're comfortable talking to people. And so you don't even need to look at the camera in that instance. You can just have somebody, an intern, a spouse, a loved one, somebody in your office, whatever, come up, hold the camera in front of their face and say, hey, Kim, what's the secret to profitable Facebook ads? And then you just respond to that question right there, with addressing a pain point. Like you could immediately start by saying something like, you might have tried Facebook ads in the past and just haven't had any luck with them and think it's a scam. Well, here's 3 strategies that you can actually use to become profitable immediately. Number 1, tip number 2, tip number 3. Let me know in the comments what Facebook ads questions that you have. I'm happy to answer for them. So there's your call to action. And if you just stick to a structure like that every single video, you're going to increase your view duration. You're going to provide incredible value. You're going to build your know, like, and trust with people online. And that's how you're going to gain a large following. That's how videos go viral. And that's how you get a lot of leads and sales for your business.
I hope we're writing all that down.
Hey, we have it on video. That is actually really amazing. And the thing that I love is, and I think I said this on a comment on one of your posts, is you walk the talk. You are the epitome of doing that video. You give people advice, and every day I see you on every network. It seems like probably 2 or 3 times a day. And you're giving, always giving. You're giving this suggestion for a website. You're giving this tip on how to do this. Giving. I've one time seen you ask for anything ever, and that was rare. That was Product Hunt, and that was the only time I've ever seen you ask anyone to give anything back by helping you out. And it's amazing to me that you do that, and I love that. That is very much a role model kind of thing for me to see someone doing that.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, that model, first of all, it just comes natural to me. Like I'm very fortunate and blessed and lucky, I would say, to be where I'm at. It's just consistency. Like I've been doing social media marketing for like 19 years. And so like social media has changed my life, and I just want to empower people for it to change their lives too. But it's also a little bit of strategy. So I'm a big Gary Vee fan. I saw Gary speak like 6 years ago or something like that. And I really resonated with him and how he came across, and dived down the rabbit hole, read pretty much every book. And it's really that jab, 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 right hook strategy of just give, ask, just deliver incredible free value. And then there's kind of the law of reciprocity there in your content. If you just give incredible content, people will ask you, like, how can I repay you? What can I do for all this information that you've shared? And that's why like 90% of the content that I put out there is just helpful, like sharing experiments, sharing what's worked for me. The reality here is that you can, don't be afraid to give your secrets away for free. You can give the information and give the processes away for free, and then sell the specialization. That's a good way to think about it. Cause like, all of the strategies that I share are fairly broad, but if somebody wants me to implement those strategies specifically for their use case, then we can talk and figure out some sort of deal.
So I'm curious. I was going to mention Gary Vee to you because that's immediately who I thought it was a jab, 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 right hook. Jab, jab, right hook. I know that you deal a lot with therapists and mental health professionals and stuff. How did you get into that? And was that before you or after you were already pretty entrenched in social media?
So so I've been doing social media marketing for about 19 years. I started back on MySpace when I was 14 years old. I was very fortunate to stumble into what I think was my calling. I'm this far into it, and I'm as passionate as I've ever been, if not more. 10 years ago, I started as an intern at a video marketing agency that specialized in the behavioral health space. So just to get a little personal here, my sister's in recovery, and my mom had moved out to California across country. We were in New Jersey at the time, to bring my sister into a treatment center. And I was still living in New Jersey at the time. My girlfriend and I had broken up. I was living with her, and I was like 22, 23, something like that, and was at a crossroads of like, all right, I'm young. What am I doing with my life? Do I want to stay here, or do I want to take a big gamble and move across country, drive across country, and like start fresh in California? And so I decided to do that, because why not? I'm an adventurer. I don't like to play it safe. I like to take risks. And so I moved out to California, and just being somewhat of a supportive brother, showing up. And coincidentally, at the one of the partners of the treatment center had this video marketing agency that specialized in the behavioral health space, doing YouTube and video marketing and live streaming for addiction treatment centers and therapists, behavioral health experts, and whatnot. And I was kind of interested in film at the time. Like, to be honest, I was doing social media, but I didn't like fully see it as a total career option. And so I was like, let me jump in here. I'll be, I'd love to be an intern and learn video production and just see where it goes. And so I loved that. And I moved, up from an unpaid intern to a paid intern to part-time to full-time. And that has been an amazing experience and journey and mentorship from there. And my boss at the time is now my business partner on both businesses. So the power of the long game there, and kind of, I don't know if I'm allowed to curse on this podcast, but eating shit for the first couple of years to get that traction, and it's to get where you want to go. And it really worked out. So that was an industry so he's a clinical psychologist as well. And I really loved working with that population and getting that information out of them, kind of that interview style. We'd press record, we'd ask questions, they answer, and then I just keep interviewing them, and we would like cut my questions out, and we'd form amazing videos. And so I just really stuck in that space, and he really mentored me and invested a lot of money in sales and training. I traveled all around the country to different behavioral health events and networked with addiction treatment professionals, and I've worked with dozens of therapists and psychologists all around the country and world at this point. And it's been an area that I've really grown a specialty in. I mean, this industry is they're starting to catch up now, but they're historically very behind in their marketing strategies, and so we really focused on video marketing in that behavioral health space, and it really took off because no other marketers or marketing agencies that specialized in the behavioral health space knew how to do video. It was all Google paid advertising and website SEO, and social media was an afterthought, a dumping ground of quote images and repurposed recovery quotes and posting blog article URLs, and it didn't generate leads. So yeah, it's been a 10-year journey of working in the behavioral health space. And I still, I speak at behavioral health marketing conferences. I'm very ingrained in that industry. We've worked with some of the largest drug and alcohol treatment centers in the world. And it's an industry I really care about as well.
Very cool.
I was gonna make a joke and say, how do you feel about that? But my very best friend is a therapist, and so is her husband. And so we have this joke. We get together on every Saturday usually, and my husband's always like, don't try to therapize me. Don't try to therapize me. But it's kind of like ingrained in who they are. You get a certain personality type that goes into that industry, and so they're just very naturally empathetic, caring people. And so I have a soft spot for that industry as well. And what's really interesting is when we'll start talking about AI stuff. And when I first started talking to them about AI tools, etc., they were freaking out a little bit, like, are we going to get replaced by AI therapists? And I'm like, no, yes, you're really not. But you got to get used to being in front of the camera, because so much of therapy now is being done remotely. It's especially if you have insurance. Like my friends don't take insurance; they're cash pay only. But to try to find a therapist that takes insurance, you're most likely going to be seeing that therapist, via camera.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
getting used to being in front of the camera is probably really good advice.
There's been a lot of fascinating updates in that space, and there has been for a while. I mean, I'm an early adopter of technology, or I try to be at least. And so, like, when 360 cameras first came out, and the first like Oculus Go headset, or MetaQuest Go, or whatever the first one was, we would. I was like, this is going to revolutionize therapy. Like, teletherapy was starting to be a thing. This was like six years ago, something like that. I bought this 360 camera, and we were working with therapists at the time. And so we did mock therapy sessions. So I would strap a 360 camera, rig it to my head, and we would do a mock therapy session for different things like anxiety and depression and school test season drama and porn addiction and like all kinds of different things. And we would do, like, I would be the client, and then there'd be a real therapist in a real therapist office. And we filmed these 360 videos, and you could put your headset on and be, from my point of view, having a therapy session in a real therapist office. And there's been more advancements in that space as well. Entire programs have been created around VR. And even more, like, recently AI as well. There's AI doctors popping up, and it's never going to be a full replacement for a therapist, but these technologies absolutely aid to the remote experience, because a lot of people are more comfortable just being in their home as well. I mean, BetterHelp is a great example of a massive explosion of a company that you have a therapist on the go in the app on the text. You can text a message in real time, and there's been a lot of advancements in that space, and I think it's only going to get more and more advanced. I think a lot of these AI tools in particular are going to help therapists There are particularly in the addiction treatment space as well. There's companies coming out for early detection signs of to prevent relapses as well. So they'll send like messages and checkups and whatnot, and it'll link directly to like their case managers, for instance. And so depending on how they respond, and the frequency of responses and whatnot, it can kind of gauge where they're at based on previous responses and provide predictive scores to prevent like various episodes and relapses and mental breaks and whatnot. So a lot of involvement there.
I think that there's so many opportunities, and one of these days we'll just have to have a chat about all that because it's fascinating to me. But how did you not transition because you're still very much involved in that space, but how did you take it to the next level with Syllabi?
Yeah, so having worked in agencies for 10 years, and I've had my own agency for about 5 years now, I saw the same problems that business owners faced over and over again. That the reason that they were to hire an agency in the first place is that they know they need to do social media marketing, and video marketing is the most powerful, impactful format to get your expertise across and communicate your personality that really resonates with people online. But they don't know what topics to create. If they've never marketed before, they don't know what to say on camera. They need help staying consistent and accountable. Maybe they don't like being on camera. They don't know how to do video editing themselves, but maybe they don't have the funds, depending on how big of a business that they are. If they're a solo practitioner or a solopreneur, they might not have the funds to invest in a marketing agency. They might not have the funds to hire an internal staff or hire 1099 marketing people, and they don't have the time to figure out and do everything themselves because they're focused on growing their business and being the expert that they are. And so I wanted to take everything that my agency does and really streamline it into what is now Syllabi. So, and it offers a lot at a high level, everything that Syllabi does, or everything that Social T Pro does, everything that a marketing agency kind of does for 100 times cheaper. That was my goal with it. So what Syllabi does is it shows you the questions that your customers are searching for online. Part of my philosophy in creating social media content is that social media platforms are search engines. And so by creating videos that are answering the questions that your clients have online, you create evergreen content and evergreen videos that forever will generate you leads for your business. And so it shows you those questions with data behind it. It generates you video scripts around those questions in a proven, repeatable format, like the structure of script that I had mentioned earlier. It'll then create the entire video for you using AI. So we have AI deep fake avatars in there, real clones, we're dubbing them. We just added voice cloning and talking photos in there. So you can upload a headshot of yourself and create a clone of your voice so it sounds exactly like you. And so it'll read that script from a human spokesperson or the talking photo. So it actually animates your head and your lips to read the actual script. It's pretty cool technology. We're soon rolling out the ability to create a fully animated deepfake version of yourself in the app as well. That'll be hopefully within a month. We're going to be releasing that. And then we just released a video editor as well. Well, it's coming out in like 2 days. So very simple video editor like CapCut, timeline style editor, where you can edit the video perfectly however you want with your own branding, customize the backgrounds, add scenes, add music in there. everything that you would want. And then you can link your social media profiles to it and schedule them. So you can actually publish and schedule directly to your social media platforms within Syllabi. And then you can track your analytics in Syllabi as well. So when you post a video from Syllabi to any of your social media channels, you can go to those post analytics and see the comments, likes, shares, views, engagement on there. And so it really is a one-stop shop for what topics do I create? What do I say in the video? Making the video, editing the video, and scheduling and publishing the video, as well as tracking your results so that you can associate success metrics with social media. And it's been an awesome journey. We're about a little over 1 year old right now, and tens of thousands of people have used Syllabi, and it's been amazing.
That's awesome. Very cool. So what's sorry, Kim, I thought you had a question there. What's the biggest impact that you found? So you know, I've experimented with some of this, the voice cloning. 11 Labs is used for that. And I know there's apps like is it like HeyGen and like Studio ID that can kind of animate avatars and stuff like that. So is technology kind of similar to what those tools are using?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're familiar with any of those tools, it's very similar. We just have a lot more on the front end and the back end to sort of pull it together and create an effective marketing strategy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just the fact that you have the analytics and like the scheduling ability, kind of everything. It's just sounds like a great, just all-in-one solution instead of like if you are using tools, you're likely probably cobbling together a bunch of different AI tools, right? And constantly trying to find the best one that rises to the top in one of those categories, right?
100%. I mean, you could use ChatGPT, you could use an SEO keyword research tool, you could use HeyGen, you could use Hootsuite to schedule. You know, all of these tools, some analytics tool to track across the board, or you can just use one streamlined tool across the board. That was the idea and the philosophy behind it for one monthly price.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me just ask one question. Because Syllabi sounds amazing, right? Like I definitely want to get in there and play around because I haven't played around with it. If you weren't using that, what other tools would you recommend? And this might be a weird question because I'm asking you to kind of recommend competition potentially, but even just outside of things that are directly related to video, just if there's any AI tools you'd recommend.
Yeah, there's a lot that I regularly use. I mean, you mentioned HeyGen. I love HeyGen. I think their quality is spectacular for creating realistic deep fakes of you. That term is like has negative connotations to it at this point because there are unfortunately scams going around, but that's every advancement of technology. There's always going to be bad people out there, but you know, I've used it very successfully. My HN clones videos have done millions of views across social media to promote my my websites and my content and help people. So it's been awesome. Repurpose.io is a great tool that I highly recommend as well. I am chaos and will manually post everything across every platform, but I have delegated tasks and hired people to free up my schedule so that I can create and publish more content and focus on what I like to do. But repurpose.io is an awesome tool that you can post. Basically, you hook it up to, you link it to all of your social media platforms and even like Google Drive if you want. And you just post one video one time and it will automatically post to all of your other social media channels simultaneously. So it's a great tool to save you a ton of time if you want to have a multi-platform approach and create content everywhere. Let's see. Yeah, 11 Labs is awesome for voice cloning. DID is a great alternative to HeyGen and has talking photo avatars. CapShow is an awesome tool. A friend of mine, Deidre, for podcasters out there. It's an amazing suite of tools specifically for podcasters. Opus Clip is another amazing tool that I love. What Opus does is it will, if you just don't have the time or don't want to learn how to do short form content, but you're already creating long form content, or you have a podcast, basically you can upload one long video or just copy and paste a YouTube video in there, and it uses AI to automatically turn it into 10 to 15 shorts. So it will take that horizontal video, crop it in vertically. It has face tracking built in, so the speakers are always center of the screen. It adds subtitles on it for you. It'll automatically clip them and give you a virality score. So it'll give you like, this is a strong opening hook for the video, and it ends it at a like, sort of a good place. So it's not like the middle of a sentence. It ends it at the middle of a thought. And I just saw them at Social Media Marketing World, and their next version includes B-roll as well. So you can take one long form video of you talking or a podcast, and it'll clip it into shorts, and it'll also add B-roll throughout, depending on what you're talking about automatically. So those are a couple that come to mind. There's so many AI tools out there. I'll do a little shameless plug here, but I launched a directory called fastpedia.io of about 900 AI tools sorted by categories and whatnot. So we're constantly updating that directory of different useful tools as well.
That's a
Very
full-time
cool.
job in and of itself, because we also have what we call it the tools
Yeah.
hub, and it's searchable and etc. But to keep AI is just growing so quickly, and to keep that directory updated all the time literally takes a full-time job.
Full-time job.
Yeah.
It's just, and that's, for us, it's just a little bonus to give to, our friends, whatever hears this. But gosh, we don't have time to maintain it.
Thank God for VAs is all I'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Guy, there's so many questions here to ask you. Can you, I know you can, but will you give us an example of somebody that maybe was a client or somebody you were working with, and you said, hey, Syllabi can do this for you? Because I've used it. I use it, obviously. And what I love about it as a user is that, yes, it will make the video, but more importantly, it helps you figure out what video to make. Because that's the hardest part of video making, is figuring out what your content's going to be. So I find that it's baked into Syllabi amazing. But have you had any situations where you've had clients who are like, you can do this on your own just as well with Syllabi?
Yeah, one that comes to mind is we've really integrated it with an existing client. So his name's Jim Brion. He's a therapist. He's got now like 600,000 or 700,000 followers across the board. It's been pretty amazing. He's just a therapist, just a nice, humble guy. And the content strategy has always been just answering questions that people are searching for online. And so we've really integrated Syllabi into that. So we'll work with him to develop ongoing content strategies and develop scripts. And so we'll type in like something like narcissist or anxiety, root keywords, and then find all of these questions that people are searching for online as topic ideas. And then we'll generate the script around it, and he'll kind of tweak the script a little bit so it feels natural for him. And then we just, create the content with him. And it's been an amazing tool. So that's the other thing with Syllabi is like, you can use it with what fits for you. Like, you don't have to use all of these components. If you just want to use it as a tool to find the best topic ideas and questions people are searching for and generating scripts, but you have your own backend systems and you like manually posting, like, cool, this is still going to provide you incredible value. Or if you want your handheld throughout the entire process, it's there for you too. But yeah, Jim is one that comes to mind. I mean, we have an awesome Facebook group. There's like 4,200 people in there or something. So people are always like posting example videos and case studies and stuff. So there's that's an amazing group. You can join us in there if you'd like to. Simplify Content Creators, it's called. But yeah, lots of great case studies. A lot of real estate agents love it too.
Oh, I bet. That's funny about the therapist. I might even follow Jim, because for some reason in my, not TikTok, but my Reels, Instagram Reels feed, I get all of these, probably like 4 or 5 different therapists talking about narcissism. I'm like, how did they find me? And why is everybody telling me about narcissists? But it's really super, super interesting. And I thought, wow, what an amazing world we live in when
Yeah.
we have such, information at our fingertips, even without asking. And just the algorithm has decided you need to know about narcissists. But
yeah, I mean, his channel is it's so cool to read the comments on there, because it just like literally resonates with people. It's like, you might think that your circumstance is only yours, like you're dealing with a narcissistic mother or spouse, and the how they verbally or hopefully not physically, hopefully none of these things, abuse you and manipulate you, but you're not alone. A lot of these behaviors are categorized and universal as well. And so when we create videos with Jim, that it just hits people to their core, like, oh my gosh, this is my exact experience. We'll see comments like this, like, how did you know? Like, are you talking about me and my specific scenario? And he gets people that approach him in real life at this at this time, because when you start to get like recognized in the wild, which is a funny thing that happens when you create content. It's like you build emotional bonds with people that consume your content on a daily basis. But yeah, the comments and people that reach out to him and people that become clients reach out to him in the first place because the information that he said in that video resonated so heavily with their specific circumstance, that it's a no-brainer to reach out to them. It doesn't matter that it came from like an Instagram reel, right? Like it's silly to think about this, but like that's the world that we live in now. Like creating a 60-second video about someone's specific problem that's going on in their life is going to resonate with a lot of other people, and it just cuts through that noise. And in this industry, it literally saves people's lives.
Well, AI has, you've given lots of examples of this, how AI has made content creation so much easier. How do you combat that? How Colin put it really well. How do you ensure that there's quality over quantity?
Well, I think both are super important. I don't think you should ever solely exclusively rely on AI content, but use it to supplement and stay consistent with your regular content. Like, for instance, I do this all the time. Like, I create my own content from scratch. Now, I absolutely use Syllabi for content ideas as well. But like, I will use my deep fakes or real clones when I'm feeling emotionally or energy drained. Like, I can't create a video today for whatever reason, or I'm traveling, I'm at a conference and I don't have time to create content, or I'm on vacation and traveling with my wife or something, but I want to maintain my consistency of daily content creation. I can make a video in 15 minutes on my phone that I know is going to resonate with my viewers, that looks and sounds like me, but I don't actually need to press record. And so, lean into your authenticity, like use it as a starting point to get comfortable online. If you want, use it to maintain consistency, because you can create content at scale using AI now. it's important to find that balance. But you're not going to build connection with who you want to reach if you're exclusively using AI. I think there needs to be a mix in between the two.
What do you think about like I know Rachel Peterson? Getting back to kind of a little bit more of the nuances of the content creation. I'm assuming you're familiar. She's big into
Oh,
short
I
form
love
content,
Rachel.
right?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I've never met her in person, but
Oh, she's great.
Rachel changed my life. Like we're connected. Like we've chatted
Yeah.
on Messenger and DMs a couple times, but like the whole reason I had success on TikTok is because of Rachel. I mean,
Yeah. She
every
was one
time
of the
she comes
first.
up, like I pay my dues to her because I sat in
Yeah.
I saw a Facebook ad, I sat in on a webinar of hers, and it
Yeah.
just clicked.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
clicked, and here we are 4.5 years later. I love
Yeah.
Rachel.
Yeah, and I think one of her big strategies is what people are searching for, right? It's like, hey, answer those questions, right,
100%.
that they're searching for. I remember Marcus Sheridan was a big fan of that as well. And what Rachel will say is like the stuff that kills, the stuff that goes viral, it's like lowest common denominator content, which me as I'm a recovering elitist, that's hard for me because I go, no, I don't want to do what has mass appeal. I don't want I like the niche thing, I'm like the black sheep. So what are your thoughts? I mean, I'm sure knowing you're a Rachel fan, I'm sure you agree with that, but like, what are your thoughts about that, like kind of lowest common denominator content? And when I talk about that, it's one of those like, hey, don't talk to me before I've had my coffee, right? It's one of those like it's just so relatable, right? Or it's like, hey, it's Monday, I don't like Monday. Oh, it's Friday, I'm excited about Friday, right? That type of content, which I like, to me, I'm just like, like it kind of, I almost cringe a little bit. But what are your thoughts on that strategy, and have you implemented it or used it with success?
If the idea of making that video makes you cringe, then don't do it. Content creation should be fun. There's three different there's several different ways that I will create content. So one is that strategy that I mentioned at the beginning, like outline different content buckets, break those buckets down, create content on that, and systematically go through it. So like Monday, do a video in category A, Tuesday, do a video in category B, etc. And it's a systematic approach to finding out what content works, what content doesn't work, so that you can double down. Social media is very, very much a momentum game, I have found. If you do more of the videos that perform exceptionally well, it has that sort of compound interest effect and just bubbles out like crazy. A good content funnel for me is at the top, broad awareness oriented content. This is the broadest content that still reaches your target audience. For instance, for me, it's been the useful websites and useful AI websites for business owners and entrepreneurs. I've been doing that for 4.5 years. I love creating video, like tinkering with different websites and sharing results and sharing them with people. Most of the websites that I share are specifically useful for business owners and entrepreneurs. And so they're going to, it reaches the most amount of people, that brings them into my ecosystem. They see my content, they engage with my content, so they're going to see more of my content. They click follow because they want more websites, etc. And then in the middle, we have the sort of consideration stage and the nurturing stage of content, where this is really relatable and hyper specific. So some of the like lowest common denominator, or specific tutorials, like here's a deep dive into one website, or here's how you can leverage video in your SEO strategy. Here's a case study. Here's a personal experience that I went through. These are where you're building trust. So like I will do 80% in that top of the funnel, and like 10, 15% in this middle of the funnel, where I'm building trust and rapport. I've brought the people in. Now I'm nurturing them and trusting. And then down at the bottom is the conversion, call to action oriented content. So like I've brought them in. They're interested, they're engaged. I've nurtured them. They like my personality. They trust me because I'm showing them specific case studies and step-by-step examples. And now, hey, I've got a new course that teaches you how to do all of this stuff. Click the link in my bio to get it, or on Instagram, set up a ManyChat DM or something like that, or automation. And so that's really how I structure my content. I think it fits into that middle section. I don't create, like, Facebook has become my number one platform because I sort of pivot to where I see the most engagement and the most growth. And so I'll mix that content more so in text-based posts than I will on video posts. But there's also an opportunity like live streaming, where you can talk about your day, like doing makeup while you're talking about strategies and stuff, for whoever. These are some of the different ways. Like I've never been the type of like content creator that goes deep into those sort of lowest common denominator things, like don't talk to me before I get my coffee type of content, because I don't personally think it's going to attract my ideal client. But I mean, my broad oriented content has always been the useful websites to just bring more people in that way.
Yeah, and maybe that's a way to think about it too. If I was, I'll just pick something I really like, right? Let's say I'm going to go talk about jujitsu or martial arts, self-defense training,
Yeah.
something like that.
Well, I'm a big
I would
MMA
just, what's that?
I'm a big MMA fan.
Oh
So now
yeah,
you
there you go.
can-
Yeah. So I'd go right to the bottom, like the lowest common denominator, maybe of that category, right? Or maybe
Mhm.
like the most easily consumable, right?
Yeah.
Anything that kind of fits into that awareness kind of play.
Yeah.
And that could be maybe the strategy, because I think it's like maybe the general kind of content like that I'm not a fan of, but I could see like, hey, if it's within a certain category of content, then
Yeah.
just think about it in that sort of hierarchy of content where there's deeper content for lower in the funnel, or however you want to describe that. Yeah, that makes sense.
So let's play with a quick example of this. Like if I had a jiu-jitsu school, and I wanted to create content to promote my jiu-jitsu school but still go viral, I would probably, top of the bucket, I would bring in MMA fans. Like, these are the top 5 MMA fights of all time, and maybe even a little broader. Like, these are the top 5 submissions in UFC history, right? So you're bringing all of these MMA fans, right? And then in the middle of the funnel, you're like, here's a jiu-jitsu tournament, or here's a jiu-jitsu move that you can, if you're a white belt, you can submit a blue belt every time, or like teaching individual moves and transitions and setups and takedowns, etc. And then down at the bottom, you're like, come in for a free trial, or buy my online course,
Right. Yeah. No, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. Cause I don't think schools, especially, they wouldn't be thinking about, well, MMA fans, but that's probably where you're getting a lot of your potential newcomers that are coming in. It's people that see some stuff in a fight and they're kind of get interested, and they're like, oh, I'm interested in this ground game. Right. So, very cool.
Yeah.
Well,
we got to shift gears. Otherwise we'll talk about jiu-jitsu and MMA. I'll take it over. Be like, oh, do you want to know, I'll give you a little tip. Do you want to know how, if you're a white belt, how you can automatically get out of anything against a blue belt?
How?
You just tap. That's how you
well, yeah.
Anyway,
did you see that guy's
jiu-jitsu jokes? Okay.
Did you see that guy's video that he's like a karate guy, but he did a jiu-jitsu doesn't work, so he entered a tournament, and so he just kept standing up.
Oh yeah. I didn't see it, but that sounds hilarious. You can't let them stand up. You just grab that bottom leg, and they can't do technical stand up. Don't ever let go of that bottom leg. Also, jiu-jitsu guys that don't wrestle, like if somebody's a wrestler, they're gonna wrestle up and double leg you. Like that's
sandbaggers. I trained jiu-jitsu for a couple of years, entered a couple of tournaments as a white belt, and then you get these wrestlers that have been wrestling for 15 years, entering white belt. Damn.
They're like white belts. They're like, well, it'll happen too, because if you're a wrestler and then you start doing jiu-jitsu, it's like, well, you're gonna start at a white belt, but their grappling experience is huge, and their wrestling 100% translates. I would say wrestlers make the best fighters.
Oh,
in general, right? So like it's again, we're gonna take this.
Sorry, Kim, we're isolating.
So let's get back to
well, I have a great question for you. So Colin and I are on the cusp of launching our first product, and it's not there yet, but we're on the cusp. You've done that. You've done that with Syllabi. You've made it through that crucial first year, and you're picking up momentum. Things haven't slowed down. I just see them going faster and faster and faster. If you could give us one piece of advice, what would that be?
Only one.
Well, no, you can give us as many.
No,
as you want.
we'll take an hour-long session.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if I'm only, well, I'll give you a couple things, but start an affiliate program as soon as possible.
Okay.
Get an affiliate program.
Yep.
And promote the affiliate program. It's a free way to activate as many salespeople as you want and have a very compelling offer.
Yep.
Give your nurture your affiliate program, provide them resources, make it really easy for them to sell the product for you. What has really worked, and this is going to sound counterintuitive, but promote other AI tools. So and even competitors, because you become a trusted resource for AI tools. And so it's you're drawing in people interested in AI tools. And so then you control the distribution. So you bring people in that are interested in AI tools, talk about your AI tool, and then make content. So that's your broad content, right? But basically just copy my content strategy, like find your own way, or model others to promote other AI tools. So it's really useful. And then in your middle content, create content for specific use cases, like whatever your AI tool does. Like if you are so-and-so and you're dealing with this problem, here's a solution for you. And here's how it can actually help. Create content at scale that way. I have found that particularly in the AI tool content creator space, you have to get to the position, but I am able to manipulate the up and coming AI content creators because what they just naturally do is copy winning videos. And so I can't tell you how many times people have word for word, scene for scene, copied my videos that are promoting Syllabi because those videos have performed well for me.
That's
and
crazy.
So they will just indirectly copy me. So like between videos and then graphics. So like if you've seen here's 100 AI tools and graphics, like we will make those images and purposefully put like Syllabi as like the top one. And so people repost those, people recreate them, people create them in text posts. And so all of these up and comers that have 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 followers are copying what I'm doing because I've got 3 million followers because they're trying to do the same thing. They're indirectly promoting my website for me because they're copying the same strategies that worked for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah. One of the things I wanted to ask about was, so let me see how to phrase this. Well, we're obviously about to launch. It is AI for content creation, and the focus was going to be, I was going to say, hey, we're going to kind of deal with some of the pain points of our customers, right? Generate content around that. That's going to be kind of one of the main ways that we kind of try to reach them. Are there other ways that you think we can reach our ideal customer?
Yeah, get on directories as well. Directories are another huge way. So like Kim mentioned Product Hunt at the beginning, like do a Product Hunt launch. There's amazing directories like mine, fastpedia.io that you can submit your tool to. Future Tools, Futurepedia, there's an AI for that.com, Alternative to, AI Tool Finder. Like if you just and another easy way to do this is use an SEO keyword research tool like SEMrush or Ahrefs and look at some of the existing, you can look at Syllabi, for instance, look at our backlink portfolio and you'll see all of the directories that we're indexed on or a very comparable tool to yours. And get that, put that list in a spreadsheet or whatever, and then just start submitting. to all of them.
Cool.
We've gotten a ton of signups and continued
That's
website
great.
traffic. I think we've submitted to like 160 tool directories.
That's awesome.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing. There's so many
We'll for sure
directors
do
out
that.
there.
Yeah. So another question. So, and this came up, right? Especially as we were kind of networking most recently, social media marketing world, and, kind of telling some of our friends and people, and even new people we met what we were doing and had some interest. And one of the things that came, which was interesting, is like, hey, aren't you worried? Aren't you worried to put all of this effort and time into software? And then aren't you worried that just like OpenAI is going to create something that like blows you up? Now, personally, I wasn't, because our product is very niched and very focused. So I'm like, no, they wouldn't even create anything that does this. But there is that kind of fear, that question of like, hey, like, you're spending all this time and effort developing AI software, but now you have these big corporations that could just come in and create something, you see kind of what OpenAI is doing with video. So is that a fear you have, or has anyone even asked you that? Or I see you shaking your head. So
No, I mean, aren't you afraid of getting on the plane and the plane crashing? Aren't you afraid of getting in the car and getting into a car accident? Aren't you afraid of Aren't you afraid of starting a business and finding competitors? If you live your entire life in fear, you're going to live your entire life of regret. Don't fear, just try. I'd rather try and fail than have never tried.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, well said. Yeah. And for me, I was like, we'll just pivot. I said, if we need to pivot, if we're wrong about market, if we're wrong about ideal customer, we'll just pivot. We'll make the pivot. We'll see where the indicators are, see where we are getting a good response maybe, and then we can switch gears. So but yeah, just interested if you to me, I was like, gosh, the thought never even occurred to me, because I'm just going to do this.
People tell you whenever you start a business, whenever you start an idea and you start talking to people, you always get the doubters, what if your business fails? Like, why would you give up your job, your comfy, cozy job? I don't live my life in fear. There's always lessons to be learned in failure. It's Absolutely. Never even, I have full ignorant belief that it's going to be wildly successful until it's not.
Well, I think you have to have a level of that to be an entrepreneur. You have to have that, right, self-belief, or even like maybe even a little self-delusion of like, no, this is gonna gonna work, right? To a healthy level, right? And I think that can be powerful. And I agree. I think you kind of do have to move past the doubters and the naysayers. But also, I mean, maybe because I'm more of like I come from like a CRO background, so it's more of an experimental mindset of like, it's just a test, it's just an experiment.
Yeah.
And this is maybe a little off topic, but I've even been trying to do this more with my hobbying, which I'm not a great painter, but I do some painting. I really nerdy stuff. I build models and paint them, and then I go play Army Men with my friends, and it's like my favorite game ever, right? Play Warhammer. But I've been trying to not fear failure with my painting. Okay, I feel like it's a good metaphor for entrepreneurship or anything, even video and content creation. And before, I used to be like, oh, I can only use like a couple colors, and I can only, I'm so scared of making mistakes and like ruining this model, which, like, who cares? It's so small you can't even see the details anyway. And I've just been trying now to like use different colors, use different techniques, and just try stuff and just throw paint on the model and see what happens. And because I've like kind of let go, I've been able to like impress myself with like, I've been holding myself back. I've been limiting myself, where I actually can do a lot more things than that I didn't think was possible. So I really do think that can apply to business as well, where you can kind of hamstring yourself and hold yourself back.
Absolutely. I mean, let's take it back to the gym analogy. I've been training Muay Thai for 14 years. 15 years now at this point. The first class that you get in there, you're super nervous. You get your ass kicked for the first couple of times, but then your body gets used to it. And when you start sparring, you start trying different things that you've learned. Like, let me see if this kick lands. Like, let me see if this technique works. Let me see if this disrupts my opponent. And if it doesn't, let me try something new. Let me, try a different style, try a different stance. And the more that consistently that you fail, you learn lessons and string combos together and whatnot. And before you know it, you're in the ring fighting.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
or, you
Yeah,
know,
it is. I think maybe martial arts helps too, right? Because it is so much trial and error and
yeah,
and stuff like that.
repetition,
So yeah. So
lots of
like
reps.
yeah, no, don't want to take any teep kicks from you. That's for sure. So stay away from that.
Right to the solar plexus. Just
Oh yeah, right to the solar plex. Yeah. I'm still not used to taking like 10% leg kicks, thigh kicks from my instructor. It's still they still hurt, man. They still
yep, they suck.
hurt. All right, where are we, Cam?
We are about to wrap up because we're out of time, but I just
Okay.
want to give the most sincere, heartfelt thank you,
Yes.
Austin, for
Thank
being on the
you.
Thank you,
show.
Austin.
All the great wisdom that you've imparted, you've motivated me, and I'm sure Colin also to,
Absolutely, yeah.
start chopping up our videos and get some short form
Yeah,
content going.
yeah.
We were pretty good at that in the beginning, then we just got busy. I think we need VAs.
Yeah.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you so much for having me on.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate the opportunity. It was a fun conversation.
It was.
Yeah,
It was
thank you,
very
Austin.
fun.
Cool. Awesome. Well, we are officially out of time, but thank you all for watching. I think we will be here next week. If not,
The week after.
maybe the week after. We'll let you guys know for episode 21. Thank you. Have a great
Bye.
week.